I imagine you're ready to come back in. Clay, we'll start with you on the UIA. If you can check the oxygen EMB 1 and 2 valves, 2 are in open.
They are?
Okay, then you can take switch power EV1 and 2, 2 switches to on.
Have some unit down to the Scuba Space Shuttle
Evening.
payload bay. You know, I had to move actually very, very slow because that FGB is quite bulky. But it took a little while, but I got there.
Rick and Clay did a great job outside all day, and we've got a couple of different clips of them around the space station doing the great work they did, and with the great teamwork all day by all parties involved, the ground and the both flight crews. We just had a terrific day. Here's Dottie on the flight deck doing her IV thing.
Yeah, I think the best thing about working on the flight deck is just that on Earth you have to put all of your checklists on tables and find space. But up here it's much easier. I could hang things, as you can see, off of monitors and off the ceiling. I had stuff strapped off the floor and had about 5 checklists going all at the same time, but one that was primary. And this looks like we're back outside. I'm going to hand it over to an EVA guy.
A little reflection here as we were taking one of the monitors. We're a little degraded with our recording capability, but this is Rick in the back of the payload bay getting ready to work on the ammonia tank. Clay's here too, and up on the APFR.
One of our big tasks on the EVA was to move the ammonia tank assembly, and part of that required Rick and I to go to the payload bay and prepare that to be removed, and that's what you're seeing right here. Clay's on the left and Rick's on the right, and I'm in a foot restraint so that I can hold this 1,800-pound thing when Rick helps me lift it off, and we're going to hand it to the arm operators. And of course, Dottie was wonderful today. She's just our quarterback inside the shuttle and tells us what to do, and of course, she's a former teacher, so we do exactly what she tells us, otherwise she might wrap our hands with a ruler. So
one of the big teamwork things today was between the robotics team and the EVA team, and here you see Steph and Jim flying the arm, and it's really incredible. Stephanie did a fantastic job grappling a moving target. Clay was in the foot restraint holding it for her, and essentially a moving target with a little motion on it, and she just did a fantastic job moving in for the grapple.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to work with Clay and Rick today, and with Jim. They had a little bit of trouble getting the tank unbolted, but were able to overcome that with their hard work. And Clay was holding it up for us nice and steady as she goes, and we were able to fly it in and get a good grapple. And towards the end of this spacewalk, we were stowing the ammonia tank onto the POA, the Payload Accommodations ORU, as a temporary location. And we'll pick up with it in our second DVA.
This is Jim. I think the high point for me today was when Stephanie and I had a few pause points during our robotics, and we had a chance to take turns sneaking away from the robotics station down into the cupola and take a look at the arm and its different configurations, just 10, 20 feet out from the windows, the incredible views of the Earth going by behind with sunsets and different land masses passing. It was phenomenal. So never forget those images in my mind.
Yeah, the video continues to show us working with the ammonia tank. It took a little bit of work to get it off the truss. We had a bolt that didn't want to come undone, or actually a soft dock that was a lot harder than it was meant to be. But we were able to lift it up, and Clay took that 1,800 pounds and held it over his head just fine. Yeah, it did take a little longer than we'd hoped for, but we were still ahead of the timeline at this point, so it wasn't an issue. And again, here's Clay holding that 1,800-pound ammonia tank assembly rock solid, and here's a picture of the grapple, and Stephanie moving in on the grapple pin.
Yeah, Clay did do a nice job holding it up, and we were able to fly it in smoothly. and get a nice grapple. Thanks to the hard work also of our EVA and robotics team for this coordination. It's not usual for the EVAers to have to hold up a payload and present it to the arm. So there's a lot of coordination and handoff between the EVA team and the robotics teams, and they did a nice job getting those procedures ready for us and training us for this activity. Actually, it's really nice for me to be able to watch this grapple because a lot of the time during this activity I was just watching clearances that we had on the side of the payload bay. We had some pretty close cameras, and so my job is to make sure that Rick and Clay are staying safe and keeping the hardware safe. And so I did miss the grapple, so it was great to actually get to see this played back. I'm really glad to see that.
And meanwhile, all this activity is going on outside with the EVA teams and the robotics teams. We also had a team inside really busy at work in the MPLM, and we were able to get 5 of our 7 racks transferred today. And Naoko did just a wonderful job. She worked with all of us occasionally and a lot with Soichi today. Moving most of the MPLM out and into the various locations around the space station, and moving a lot of the return supply back into place.
Oh, and this view is from Cupola. How fantastic the view from Cupola is. And while Rick and Clay are exploring outside, Soichi and I had a chance to explore inside the space station. We transferred 5 racks today and 2 storage racks to the GEM logistics module, and 1 went to US laboratory, and 1 Morris rack to the Columbus module, and 1 crew quarter, which is our new home for the space station crew, into the Node 2, and 1 Melfi, which is -80, freezer into the GEM laboratory. And some racks weigh about 1,000 pounds, so it is challenging to control a rack while holding to move smoothly and steady. So it is a very good combination of the teamwork. So we enjoyed very much.
And here's the views in the MPLM, and here's Soichi and Naoko, and they're working on moving another rack and getting some more of the equipment out.
Oh, it's a surprise guest from Station Soichi. I was really impressed that those guys are a great team that's really efficient and move all the racks, and of course the EVA guys are just great. And I see the Mars mark coming out, and Naoko is like, she's like a pro, just walking here and there, and it was really fun to watch her, and thanks very much.
Yeah, this is the Mars rack, which is a muscle atrophy resistance rack, science rack, and it goes in the Columbus module. And again, this is a full-size rack, about the size of a large household refrigerator, and it moves through the hatches very easily. But again, it has a lot of mass, so once you get it moving, it's quite difficult to stop. So we have to be careful not to hit anything. And we come out of the MPLM and turn it 90 degrees and into the Columbus module.
Yeah, it was very fun to see Naoko working with the transfer, and also Soichi and the help of the station crew. Oleg helped us for a while today, and Dottie and Jim and Dex were also involved in transfer. So we were able to transfer these racks, get some of the pre-packs that the space station crew has worked hard to pack for us into the MPLM, and we have also started to offload some of the resupply. So it's a great team, and we are enjoying the MPLM. It's a great volume. There's already been some bungee jumping and some flips in the MPLM, so I'm sure that will continue.
One of the things that's important